Well, here we go again. Oh, yeah. Okay. Give me just a second here. Hang on. There we go. Okay, so that's what's driving me. Oh my god. Okay. Woo. I was starting to freak out a little bit here. Let me crank this back up. Okay. Oh, I am so sorry about that. Oh shit. Okay, so let's see. As of right now, we are currently streaming to 2 different things. Okay. We're gonna stop that. Let's see how well that works. Okay. Okay. I think we're gonna I'm trying. Okay, hang on. First of all, welcome back to another episode here at the Guardcast IRL. Right now, I am actually trying to stream simultaneously to Kick and YouTube. So, I don't know if my PC is capable of doing all that. So, I think we're just gonna not. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, I went ahead and I just wanted to shut that back down. Okay. Ooh. All right. We'll try something different with Kick. I definitely want to try Kick. I'm hearing a lot of good stuff over there. But I don't think I can stream simultaneously from like I'm worried that it's going to fuck up my YouTube, right? And we don't want that. We do not want that. Okay, so anyways, we are back again after like a month from my last show, and tonight we're going to be talking about there's been a lot of things going on in the Destiny community for like the past couple weeks, I would say, at the least. And I don't know how I want to go about this. Okay. I am on the edge of maybe I will kind of go over. Okay, there was this controversy with the whole Bungie's microtransaction stuff. So that's kind of what we're at right now, right? So Bungie has their thing with, or they have microtransactions in the store, and there are other issues with the whole monetization. Right, so I'm gonna switch over. Okay. And let's see. We'll just do this. Go here. And I don't know. Oh boy. Okay, Astrocross put out a video, right? And everybody and their mama has reviewed it, checked it out, and all that good stuff. And he basically hammered down the whole basically microtransactions, right? So, and talking about Destiny 2 has become a microtransaction hell. There's a lot of good points, I will have to say. That there are a lot of good points, but I also want to kind of point out a few things that I've noticed. And hang on a second. Oh, okay. First we're gonna turn the music down. And I want to switch over to this scene. Right, yeah. Okay. So, if you haven't already seen this, it's been viewed over 1 million times. I wanted to do this like right after it came out, but I was like, no, I want to see how this plays out, right? And of course, a lot of people put things together. Okay, let's just so that we're not wasting a bunch of time, we're just going ahead and start this. So this is me reacting to the whole Astrocross video, and maybe I could probably add to the conversation. That's my goal, not to sit here and be like, oh, he don't know what he talking about. No, I don't talk Twitter, I'm sorry. So let's see. Okay, let's start. Yeah.
October 13th, we'll see the return of Text to the Tower. Silver is a new currency coming to Destiny that is bought with real money.
And if you don't know who this is, at the very beginning, it's actually Dado. So it's Dado's old ass video from like, what, 2015, I think is what it says.
This is the introduction
October 2015. Yeah. So that's who, and then Cross comes in.
Destiny. But I've never had a problem with cosmetic microtransactions. A lot of people now mention the slippery slope argument. Yes, Dado, we start with shaders, emblems, emotes, but who is to say that they won't introduce materials, armor, or weapons in the future? If we see legendary guns for sale, if we see legendary marks for sale, I'm gonna be mad. If we see something like 100 motes of light for $5, I'm gonna be mad. I don't want to see power sold. I don't want to see shortcuts to power sold. Nothing. I don't want to see weapon parts, ammo synths, nothing. If Bungie...
Okay. Before we get too far into it, right? Here, let me turn my mic down so I'm not blowing out your eardrums. Okay. He's saying that if he sees certain things like extra materials and stuff like that, upgrades, weapon upgrades, or whatever, then yeah, like he'll be Hulk mad. And you kind of see that, you know, in the Eververse, there are ways where you could purchase Bright Dust. They have like packages where you could purchase Bright Dust, emblems. But really, it's like the Bright Dust is really only for the cosmetic stuff. I mean, everything is situated around cosmetics. So now, and I had a conversation today, kind of over the span of the day, about how the Destiny endgame is not actually the loot, it's actually the fashion. Fashion is Destiny 2's endgame. As much as I would really like to look good, I don't think that's everybody's endgame, to be honest. Sure, there are a lot of people out there that look at it that way, sure, but that doesn't mean that that's what the end game really is, when it comes to that. But let's keep going.
Does cross that line, you have my rage.
Ooh, the rage. Okay, so this is going to be, how long is this video? 30 plus minutes. Okay, 35 minutes. Okay. Let's do something else here, okay? Because we'll be here all fucking night if I do this. We're going to go, let's see. Can we do ×2?
Guys, I hate to say it, but now may be the time.
Yeah, we'll do ×2. That'll make it 15 minutes. So, okay.
Time to start raging. Now I'm going to preface this by saying, no, this is not a joke video. When it comes to greedy corporate monetization practices, to us, this is really not a laughing matter. The clips you just watched are from a 7-year-old video Dado posted in Destiny 1, about a month after the release of The Taken King, and my god, it has aged like fine wine. Today, we're talking about the state of
And of course, you know, when you okay, you can see right here synthweave templates, which is connected to cosmetics, but I don't get it. I think that the synthwave argument is just a non-issue. I'm sorry, it's not. Like, unless if you're determined to purchase or turn every piece of armor into an ornament, it doesn't make any sense to me why people get outraged by synthwaves. And everything you see here is mainly cosmetics or finishers, stuff like that, right? So but we'll keep it going. I'll try not to interject too much, but I will interject.
Microtransactions inside of Destiny 2. Because over the last several years, and increasingly this past year, we've seen a dramatic increase in monetization for anything and everything Bungie can slap behind a paywall. This includes raising prices, creating new avenues for spending, double dipping into the existing player base, and giving players blatant pay-to-win benefit.
Yeah, I feel like the when it comes to free activities and putting in an extra thing, it's like, I mean, sure, you might have an argument there, but is it really that big of an issue? It's, you get like what, 6 like cosmetic emotes and stuff. Like, is it really that big of a deal? I mean, if they put weapons, like a specific weapon behind it, then yeah, by all means, like grab a hold of their feet and throw their asses in the fire. Okay, sure, but they're not. That's not it.
Now here are the timestamps on the screen for each topic covered in this video. This is going to be a long one, so grab your popcorn. And one thing I ask before you leave a comment criticizing or even defending Bungie, please watch this video in its entirety. We're going to cover a lot of ground today because I want all of us here to have a full perspective on how bad microtransactions have become over the past 7 years. And maybe by the end of this video, when all Bungie schemes are on the table, you will share my concern for what this game may look like 7 years in the future. Now, first off, I want to set the record straight. Destiny 2 is not a free-to-play game. It's a free-to-try game. It's very important we're all on the same page here because this is the most common justification for the use of microtransactions across the industry. And the biggest illusion Bungie tries to spin in their marketing. Microtransactions in real free-to-play content makes perfect sense. If you're not paying to purchase the actual software, then the developers are completely justified in generating revenue using other means. Usually, this is just in the form of cosmetic items that players purchase for digital fashion, fun, or even clouds. But developers can also use more shady techniques like loot boxes, bonuses, or even additional content to persuade players to spend more money. With that being said, Destiny...
Which we can't forget that Bungie did do that, like a loot box, but that was very quickly turned down. Like they reverted that very fast. So
even after becoming free to play in 2019, has never actually been free to play. Matter of fact,
and that is true. But Destiny 2, it's not free to play. It's the, hey, dip your toes in, see if you even like it, if you like the gunplay, and if you actually like it, then go ahead and go into it, and actually start, getting the DLCs and the battle passes and all that good stuff.
A couple weeks ago, documenting the experience of a free-to-play player in Destiny, which I highly recommend giving a watch. In a nutshell, after completing the introduction quests and missions, free-to-play players can access Strikes, Crucible, Gambits, Prophecy Dungeon, Vault of Glass, King's Fall, Open World, and Dares of Eternity. On the surface, that actually seems like a decent amount of free content, but is it actually? Compared to the massive amount of content in Destiny, this is just a fraction of what the majority of players have access to. You don't even get a campaign in free-to-play. You get rituals, quests, and a couple of high-end activities. Let's compare this to some other free-to-play games, shall we? Starting with arguably the most popular free-to-play game, Fortnite. There are plenty of microtransactions in Fortnite, but all of them are strictly for cosmetics. Even the seasonal battle pass, which you can pay for, is earnable via just playing the game. Granted, that would take a while. The free version of the battle pass gives you V-Bucks that you can save up to buy the paid version. And as long as you play enough to complete the battle pass each season, you can earn enough to repurchase it again next season. 100%.
True, but that's because Fortnite is like completely free to play. Like all the content in it is free, and if you want to buy the battle pass, you basically essentially only have to buy it once. But Destiny is definitely not that, and I think Bungie should revert the whole free to play, to be honest. It's just kind of one of those things. I think that kind of, it puts a bad taste in your mouth, right? It's like, really have, if you're going to do that, it needs to offer more, right? Like old content that we don't play anymore. Like, we can't have Forsaken anymore because that was put in the DCV. So why not put, more things into, like, I don't know. Shadowkeep. I mean, how old is that now? Shadowkeep and Beyond Light. Once you hit a certain mark, maybe those stories could become free, and then that gives more access and maybe more incentive for free to play players to play. But they do make, Cross does make a really good point here later on, so we'll see about that.
It's completely free. There's even some currency left over you can choose to save or even spend in the shop if you want to buy some cosmetics. Next up, we have Warframe. Yes, I know comparing Destiny and Warframe is kind of a touchy subject, but Warframe is also a free-to-play game. The Nightweek Battle Pass is completely free. The updates are free, and you can earn the paid currency in the game's player-driven market. So it too is essentially free. Now these are just two prime examples, and I could dive into more, but I think you get the point. These games grant you access to all the actual gameplay content for free. In Destiny, you get maybe 10% of the content for free, which means this is not exactly free to play. That's a free trial. Destiny is by no means the first to do it though. Remember the light versions of apps back in the early days of iPhone? Every major game had a free light version, essentially a demo. Angry Birds Lite, Minecraft Lite, Light Bike Lite. I don't have a problem with free trials, but free trial and free to play have been commingled so much that players can't differentiate between the two. Another common trait of free trials is that they're full of ads. As a new light player, the number of pop-ups you receive in game telling you to buy more content is ludicrous. Don't be fooled. Bungie offers a free trial of Destiny 2, and if you want to play,
I guess me not being a free-to-play player, I guess a lot of the pop-ups and shit that the game does to try to incentivize you to purchase, like I said, I can stand with this argument. Like, no, I don't think Destiny should be free. In that sense, even if it was where you could add like Shadowkeep and Beyond Light, let's say we take those two and lump them into the free to play, right? At least they'll have a couple stories that they could play, because everything else but prior to that was vaulted in the DCV. So
play the full version, you have to pay money. Lots and lots of money.
that is true. And this next part is definitely going to be.
And this has a lot of paid content, but quite frankly, it's confusing as hell. You got the Lightfall plus Annual Pass, or Lightfall by itself, the Legacy Collection, which includes Witch Queen, Beyond Light, and Shadowkeep, the 30th Anniversary Pack, Witch Queen, Beyond Light separately, as well as Shadowkeep separately, the Forsaken Pack, and the Armory Collection, which includes both Forsaken and the 30th Anniversary Pack. There's so many different bundles for old content, but quite frankly, this is absurd. I have so many people that come to the stream that ask, which one do I buy? And quite frankly, how in the hell is someone new to the game supposed to navigate all of this? There's a novel idea. Why don't Bungie just bundle everything? Literally, just the everything bundle. All content through the Year of Lightfall, or the Lightfall plus Annual Pass, or the Legacy Content Bundle, which includes all those old things that tends to confuse the piss out of everyone. Now, if you need to itemize old expansions for players who want to purchase a single piece of content, that's fine. But even this list is already so much simpler than what Bungie already offers. Then you may be asking, why does this not exist already? Spoiler alerts, there's no singular bundle for all of old Destiny content because Bungie refuses to improve the new player experience for the sake of decreased revenue.
I don't know if it's like if they refuse to do it, but maybe it's just that their main priority. I don't know. None of us really know because none of us work at Bungie. So, but I mean, but you do. There is a point here. You know, especially whenever I was recruiting new people to like my clan and stuff. People would come in and just they don't know which one to purchase, right? They don't know where to go or how to start. So that does make a lot of sense. If they can condense everything, which Bungie is, let's be frank here, Bungie is not the only one that has gone through this, with this issue. It's just, I'm just wondering how long it's going to be an issue when it comes to trying to condense everything, especially old content. I mean, we're going to be like, we're basically almost to the halfway mark of before we give final shape, right? So
care more about the player base and the extra cash, they would bundle all the old content into one single legacy content bundle instead of nickel and diming.
This is actually very nice. This actually makes sense. Legacy, everything from like Beyond Light back, or even Witch Queen shit, and then you got Lightfall and Lightfall annual pass. I mean, that makes so much more sense.
New players. Now, why is the Forsaken Pack, a bundle containing a raid, a dungeon, and some exotic weapons and armor still even a thing? It also used to contain 9 supers for each light subclass as well, and those were added into free to play because locking supers behind paywalls was stupid. And what remains is what new players are still paying for. Now, why is
well, also they didn't want to put the supers behind a paywall because then you would have play to win or pay to win, right? Because some of the upgraded supers would be far more superior than the old set of supers. So yeah, they're kind of forced to put that in the free to play. So I think a lot of this is free to play is an issue, to be honest, and it's either you got to give more for the free to play players, but you got to do something about the free to play, and you also got to do something about the whole monetization when it comes to like purchasing the packs and shit. That definitely needs to be condensed, like severely.
Is the 30th anniversary update even a separate paid add-on in the first place? Remember when Bungie updated the game with cool content for free? Some new players might not remember, but the April update in Destiny 1 was a free update to the game that increased line level, added a new story mission, quests, revamps of both strikes, updates to the Prison of Elders, chroma gear for custom armor glows, a new taken set of armor, reprised exotics, and legendary weapons. All of this for free. It was like a mini expansion that we got as a gift from Bungie. Fast forward a year ago, if you didn't pre-order the deluxe edition of Witch Queen, you had to dish out $25 to get access to things like the Grasp of Avarice dungeon, Gjallarhorn, and a bunch of cosmetics. Yes, there were parts of this update that were free, like Dares of Eternity, which is a completely new activity, and I understand that a lot of developer work went into creating these. But I bring this up to draw a comparison of how things used to be 7 years ago. The reality is, if the 30th anniversary update was released in Destiny 1, we would have received it completely free. The 30th anniversary update was also the tipping point.
Yeah, but that was a whole completely different time, right? I mean, when the 30th anniversary, when they finally brought that out, Bungie is on their own. They didn't have the backup of Activision. They didn't have that Activision money anymore. Which, yeah, you could be like, oh, well, you're bringing up the Activision argument. It's like, shut up, okay? It's okay.
Point that introduced Dungeon Keys to Destiny 2. These have got to be one of the most divisive double-dipping additions to the game ever made. For those of you who don't know, Dungeon Keys were added in the Witch Queen. Bungie releases 2 dungeons each year, and if you don't buy the deluxe edition, that being the expansion plus annual pass, you also have to buy these separately. Both dungeons are sold together for 2,000 silver. This is Bungie's in-game currency, which equates to $20. No longer are dungeons included in seasonal content, which made a lot of us scratch our heads asking.
Okay. I've been kind of thinking about why that is as well. Why is it that Bungie has separated, unless if you purchase like the mega pack, right? Which I prefer to get, for an entire year of content, where I can kind of come and go or whatever. $100. Shit, I would probably pay $120 if it came up to that. For an entire year of content, fuck yeah, because I enjoy playing Destiny all the time. But at the same time, it's like, the real reason why they went behind it, and this is my speculation, the reason why they separated the two, or at least they didn't continue on adding to it. Because if you think back, I even looked it up when this first started coming out, with where they were talking about dungeon keys, and people were flipping the fuck out about it, right? So I looked it up, and come to find out, dungeons were actually only being played 3% out of the entire community. Like, I can't remember where I found the graph, and I wish I could show it, because it's like, but you gotta have proof, right? But I know I looked it up, and it was only like 3%. Like, dungeons, and if you really think back, before they started doing dungeon keys, were you really doing dungeons as often as you are now? And think back at the dungeons that we do have. You got Shattered Throne, the Prophecy Dungeon. I feel like there was one more prior. It was like 2 or 3 of them. Let's see. Fuck. What was it? Shattered Throne, the Prophecy. I think those are really the only 2. And then we got the Grasp of Avarice dungeon with the 30th anniversary. And that's when I think that's when the first dungeon key came out. When they first decided to do dungeon keys. So I'm kind of looking at this and thinking, I mean, the majority of a lot of people weren't really spending a lot of time. Yeah, they tried to, like, we had Witchender, where they tried to, get people to go into the Shattered Throne, give them a reason to. So they gave us Wishender, and that kind of satisfied us for a little while, but that finally drowned out after a bit. But we also had, but like I said, it was only like 3% of the community, like the time was spent in dungeons. So I guess if Bungie wanted to be able to put out better dungeons for people to spend more time in, then it's going to cost you a little bit of money. And I get it. Maybe they could, I could see maybe having the dungeons come with the season. Like, if you purchase the season, you should be able to get the dungeon. Okay, sure, especially since the seasons are going to be increased in price. But I don't know how that financially. Don't come asking me about finances. Trust me, I don't do well with finances. That's no.
What the hell, Bungie? This only makes paying for content more confusing. And we know it to be a fact from first-hand experience. One of our part-time editors bought Season of the Deep to play the dungeon and didn't realize Ghost of the Deep was not included in Season of the Deep, meaning he had to go buy the dungeon key after buying the season to play what he actually wanted to play. If one of us can make that mistake, how much easier is it for a new player who has never played Destiny to make that mistake as well? The title of the dungeon trailer on YouTube even suggests that it's included with the Season of the Deep. You will only find out otherwise if you read through Bungie's website, or visit the activity directly, or visit the last page in their store, which we know a decent portion of new players will not know how to do.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so dungeons no longer ship alongside seasonal content. Surely the price of seasons deserve to be low, right? No. Bungie raised the price of seasonal content. If you want to buy a season by itself, it used to cost only $10. And honestly, for 6 weeks of story, some cool cutscenes, access to the multiplayer activities and new gear, I would have argued that it was a great deal. But then Bungie increased the price. And you know what? Fair enough. Adjust for inflation, gotta put food on the table. It makes sense. Bungie announced in a twab they were increasing the price of seasons from 1,000 silver to 1,200 silver, which puts us at $10 a season to now $12 per season. Or does it? You see, when you buy silver, Bungie gives you a little extra for each purchase. And the bigger the purchase, the more extra you get. So when you buy $10 worth of silver, that being 1,000, you actually get 1,100 silver. That's so generous of them. Funny how that works too, because that's just short.
Okay, so when it comes to this, I would definitely advocate that Bungie should move away from charging silver for seasons. Unless if they're going to have a direct purchase. Like if it's going to cost you 1,200, you should be able to have a way to purchase 1,200 silver exactly. Or just make it where you purchase it with dollars, right? Like just you gotta spend the $12 to be able to play the season. Okay, cool. So I am in agreement with this part. That's for sure.
The amount needed to buy a new expansion. So to buy an individual season, you need to purchase $15 worth of silver, not 12. Meaning Bungie actually raised the price by $5 because you can't buy seasons with real money. You have to buy them with Bungie's tokens. They're fake money. Not surprised too, considering how cluttered the Steam store is already with expansions, which by the way, you can buy with real money. Why not just add each season there too? Make an annual season pack. Hell, folks are already confused. You might as well add it. Something tells me we won't ever see a $12 silver purchase option anytime soon. Luckily, Bungie added the $15 option right before Season of the Deep and even created a $100 silver purchase option too. So if you want to bankroll their pockets even more, that's a lot easier for you. And guess what? You thought a $5 increase was bad? Let's take a trip down to the Microsoft and Epic Games Store where there is no $15 silver option. The next highest is $20. You're now paying Bungie double the price for a new season. Guys, that's just borderline evil. Thankfully, any players who use these platforms are not completely screwed. Bungie does offer a $15 seasonal silver bundle as well, but not only is it separate from the other silver purchase options, it also doesn't advertise how much silver it gives. You actually have to click into it to see how much silver you are buying. But hey, it comes with a free emote. Am I right? I do want to be clear. I'm not against silver existing or people buying silver. I buy plenty of silver. I'll even meet Bungie halfway. I'm not against paying $12 for a season, but it's these shady, scummy, underhanded tactics that Bungie keeps using that pisses me off. Bungie, if you're gonna raise the price of a season to $15, at least have the balls to just tell us straight. I shouldn't need to perform mental gymnastics to decipher a change in pricing structure like it's a day one rating counter. It's not the price increase that rubs me wrong. It's how Bungie intentionally designed it to siphon more money while deceiving the community into thinking it was less.
He got a point, that's for sure. But woo.
Alright, so video has been pretty tame up until now. That's all going to change when we talk about seasonal events and event cards. Event cards are the singular worst paid item ever added to Destiny. Last year, Bungie had the idea to add event cards to Destiny. These are filled with event challenges that grant you materials, event cosmetics, weapons, etc. This card was introduced as Bungie's solution to simplify in-game events, making it easier for players to reference what they needed to do to earn more rewards and complete the event time. Their solution? Plaster a giant pay-to-unlock button on the front of the event card to earn more rewards. You heard me right? You have to pay 1,000 silver, $10, for the privilege of completing challenges so you can earn these extra rewards. It's essentially a mini battle pass that is already inside of a seasonal battle pass model. If you don't complete the challenges, you don't get any rewards. And even worse, players often don't know that it only gives you 4 cosmetics. All the others on the card are free. This microtransaction is positioned strategically where all players interact with event challenges, because if you don't buy it immediately, Bungie wants you to stare at for 3 weeks while you finish all your
Okay, hang on, let me back this up.
This card was introduced as Bungie's solution to simplify in-game events, making it easier for players to reference what they needed to do to earn more rewards and complete the event time. Their solution? Plaster a giant pay-to-unlock button on the front of the event card to earn more rewards. You heard me right? You have to pay 1,000 silver, $10, for the privilege of completing challenges so you can earn these extra rewards. It's
Pay $1,000 for no, like to complete the challenges. No, I could be completely misunderstanding what he's saying in this, but no, like you have your challenges that you can complete, and you also get tickets from each of those completions. And each of those, and whenever you receive those tickets, yeah, I could kind of, you do have an argument there. It's plastered right in your face, like almost the entire time. Anytime that you got to complete those challenges, boom, there it is. It's right there. But it's a non-issue for me. It really isn't. It's all about, I think a lot of the problem is about people have a hard time with self-control, I guess. I mean, but at the same time, yeah, I get it. Like Bungie is trying to market it, try to pull that extra $10 out of your ass out of a free event. But all the rewards that you get through completing the challenges, you don't even have to purchase that card. I played through the last one. I didn't even purchase the card, and I was still able to get all the rewards. It's just you collect the tickets, and the tickets goes to that extra card that you unlock those extra emotes, like 4 emotes, like I was saying. It's like you get an emote and a shell projection and some other crap. You know, it's like I'd rather do the challenges. So you get all these rewards from doing all the challenges, but you know, if you want the card, you get these cool emotes. But you don't have to purchase it to be able to participate in the challenges. I'm pretty sure of that.
Essentially a mini battle pass that is already inside of a seasonal battle pass model. If you don't complete the challenges, you don't get any rewards. And even worse, players often don't know.
Oh, okay. If you don't complete the challenges, you don't get any of the rewards. Yeah, but so, I mean, if you're not playing it, you're not going to get the rewards. I mean, that's like, yeah, sure. Like if you, like this last, the Halloween one, you know, that we did, Festival of the Lost, right? I only had to complete that extra activity like a couple more times, and I would have had the whole thing, all of them done. And I can't even remember if I actually even purchased the extra card, you know, through that one. But you know, because I'm just like, I did it once, the first time that they put out. I went ahead and did it. I think that was Season of the Dawn, or not Season of the Dawn, the Festival of the Dawn, or the Dawning, I should say. Excuse me. But it's still, nah.
No, that it only gives you 4 cosmetics. All the others on the card are free. This microtransaction is positioned strategically where all players interact with event challenges, because if you don't buy it immediately, Bungie wants you to stare at it for 3 weeks while you finish all your other challenges, slowly seducing you to part with $10 for a couple extra cosmetics. But Cross, it's only cosmetics. What's the big deal? That is the big deal. Events in Destiny 2 are only about cosmetics, and over 90% of the cosmetics you have to pay for. Surprise! Just like dungeons, seasonal events are not included in your seasonal pass purchase. You wanna know why everyone thinks events are boring? It's because they are rehashed every year, and they revolve around spending money. Every new armor set, $10. New emotes, $10. Ghost shells, ghost projections, finishers, the list goes on. Money, money, money. It's so bad that Festival of the Lost has eternally been dubbed Festival of the Cost. Why would I want to participate in events where I get one gun and have nothing else meaningful to work towards? Normally I have zero problem with paying for cosmetics, because cosmetics are just the extra cherry on top. I already pay for my content, and if I want to spend a little more, that's my choice. The problem with events is the cosmetics aren't the content. It's all over marketing. It's in the silver shop. It's on my event challenge card. Events became unfun a long time ago because the content came second to the cosmetics. Yes, it is possible for cosmetic microtransactions to ruin video games, just like Halo Infinite. Part of the reason why it was received so poorly, beside the lack of co-op and mediocre campaign, was because all avenues of customization were locked behind paywalls. This was always one of Halo's greatest strengths. The Master Chief Collection on Steam still has free live service seasonal content. You purchase the game.
Yeah, but that's a real stretch to be able to compare Destiny's microtransactions to Halo. I mean, holy cow, that shit was fucked up, to be honest.
Once, you get to play some of the best games ever made by Bungie and 343, and visual progression is alive and well, unhindered by microtransactions. Best $40 I've ever spent, even less when it goes on sale. Events have become just another way, though, to squeeze more money and double dip into the player base in preparation for the next season, and it just keeps getting worse. Is Bungie in the moral wrong for promoting more cosmetics during an event? No. Do I have the right to call events in Destiny boring and being mid as hell? Because there's little to no loot tied to them that you can actually earn. Yes, we do have that right. And because events are quote-unquote free to all players, there is zero monetary incentive for Bungie to spend time on anything more than creating the most attractive Destiny shopping mall for 3 weeks. I would love for Bungie to prove me wrong on this one, because I like the idea of events.
Okay, like you do get stuff though. Like doing the events, you get the weapons. Those are free. You don't have to purchase anything. Like you get the weapons. There's even I mean, mainly it's like cosmetic stuff that you have to purchase. And sure, it's like and not everything. I don't know. Like I don't know if this only caters to like a certain group of people that feel the need that they have to have every single piece of item that's in Destiny, and this is their issue. But like not every season I feel the need that I need to have every piece of armor. Now like this last one, for a good example, I'm just like, I don't know if I really want to spend that money to be able to get the new season, the Hunter armor, which looks awesome as fuck, but I'm just like, I don't know. I'm not like dying over to get it. And usually I know I got all 3 of the pieces Void, Solar, and Arc when we did the 3.0 shit over those 3 seasons. You know, I got all 3 of those armor pieces because I thought that would be cool to collect. But I mean, and really, like, I have my shit so mix and matched. Like, I don't have like one theme really. Like what you see here, you know, these guys wearing like the same thing, like out of that entire set. And like, I don't do that. I do my shit different.
They're supposed to be fun, but there's nothing fun to do during those 3 weeks unless you like spending more money. The way you fix events in Destiny is by investing in the player experience. Supremacy during Guardian games is a great first step, but that existed as a base game mode in Destiny 1.
Okay, no, Supremacy was the shit. Okay, I really enjoyed Supremacy. That was fucking awesome. It was so much fun when we had that in the Guardian games this last time. I enjoyed the living shit out of that, especially that they had a class like where you could go like you can match make with your class. That was so much fun. I loved it. I don't care what you say. I don't care what anybody says. I love that shit.
1. So we really can't give brownie points here for something Bungie gave back to us from 6 years ago. Provide players who don't want to spend money meaningful gameplay or rewards for their time, and then we'll revisit this topic. And this next gripe is more of a PSA. Do I have anything against paid cosmetics existing in Destiny? No. However, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but the cost for everything in every store is insane. $15 per armor sets, exotic emotes can get as high as $12 each, exotic ornaments, $6 each, and this all adds up very quickly, especially if you want to get one thing per character. The most recent price hike we've seen has been the collaboration armor sets. These started with the Epic Games collab during Season of the Plunder and have stayed consistent with every collab since. Assassin's Creed, PlayStation, all of these armor sets cost 2,000 silver each. That's $20 for one set of armor. All the Destiny ones, DLCs included, was on sale for just $20 just a few weeks ago. There's no universe where you can convince me that 3 armor sets cost $60 total, one for each class, by the way, and somehow that is worth the same price as a AAA game. Now, will people buy them? Obviously, yes. Will Bungie make lots of money?
Look at Fortnite. You know how many thousands of dollars people purchase for skins? I mean, it's same difference, right? I mean, but hey, you know, I guess that's what happens when you have 3 characters. Yeah, I get to sit here and know that I only play one character, so I only have to pay $20, while the rest of you have to pay $60. So you have to buy all of them. I'm just kidding.
Money? Yeah, are we getting ripped off? You damn right. This isn't just Bungie doing this stuff. This is basically industry standard. In-game cosmetics are beyond expensive. It's your money, so spend it how you deem fit. But I figured while we're on the subject, I should make you doubly aware that everything in Eververse is very expensive and, dare I say, dramatically overpriced.
Yeah, you could probably make that argument. Like some of the things, it's like, is it really $20? And also, you also have to look at it this way: is the Eververse responding to the market? Or is it that not as many people are purchasing, so the price is going higher, because I know it's all digital, but it still costs money to make these things. That's one of the things that I had to learn, because at a certain point I was like, I didn't like the idea of microtransactions in video games. I hated the idea when I first heard about it in like mobile games. Oh my God. Like people purchasing shit that doesn't exist. It's not real. Oh man. And I'm just like, dude, this shit's coming to normal games, like just on consoles. This shit's going to happen. People are going to purchase shit like skins and stuff like that. It's so weird. But kind of over time, yeah, sure. With not just Destiny, but other games, where I would spend extra money, for cosmetic shit, especially when it came to like Modern Warfare. I played Modern Warfare and I really enjoyed playing the game. And I purchased all kinds of shit, and it was cheap shit here and there, but it adds up over time, right? And I think I only purchased like a couple of battle passes, but yeah, and it's sad because I'm an old COD head, you would say, but they kind of did me wrong, but I don't know if it's really their fault. I could probably had it returned to me and everything if I really wanted it, if I reached out to Activision or whoever, to be like, hey, I know I did a name change, but that was kind of on me. But it frustrated me, and I deleted that Call of Duty game, Modern Warfare game, and I never been back since. So, but that was kind of on me, but at the same time, it was still very frustrating because I spent so much money, and I'm just like, fuck, and I lost everything, everything that I purchased. And I was pretty upset about it, but that's an L for me, right? Manipulation.
Bungie is constantly devising methods to make you spend more money in game, whether you're a hardcore player or even free to play. The constant scheming never ends. In addition to everything we previously mentioned, this season Bungie added an Eververse recommended tab to the store, so you can find offers made just for you more easily. Earlier this year, Bungie added the ability to purchase weapon ornaments on actual weapons in game. Now, we'll admit, this is convenience. If you want to view
I actually
what your
like
flashing
that.
look like with the new paint job,
That was
it is
pretty
also
good.
an obvious play to reduce the distance between the player and the purchase button. You cannot preview armor ornaments with shaders before you buy them. You have to purchase the armor, then you can see if that matches your look. If any of you remember, shaders used to cost 40 bright dust from Eververse, and if you're unfamiliar with bright dust, it's an in-game currency that you can't buy, which you can only spend on specific items in the Eververse store. It's designed to keep players engaged with the store, even if they haven't spent any money, in the hopes that they will spend money in the future. Anyway, Bungie raised the price of shaders from 40 to 300 bright dust. So
Wait, hold on.
Eververse. And if you're unfamiliar with bright dust, it's an in-game currency that you can't buy, which you can only spend on specific items in the Eververse store. It's designed to keep players engaged with the store, even if they haven't spent any money, in the hopes that they will spend money in the future. Anyway, Bungie raised the price of shaders from 40 to 300 bright dust, solely because they wanted to. Just another sink for bright dust, so you have less free money for armor, emotes, or anything else you want to buy. And they've also started locking shaders behind paid bundles too. And
Okay. Okay, when it comes to the bright dust situation, you know, people was like, oh my god, it used to cost $20, now they're 300. Do you know why? They literally, if you've forgotten, they have increased the amount of bright dust that you would actually receive, and you can actually farm for bright dust. Yeah, sure, it would cost a lot of time for you to do it. If it's really that, like, you have to have, I feel like if you try to micromanage one specific thing, then yeah, it's going to drive you up the fucking wall when you're trying to play this game. But like, okay, there's a certain shader. I mean, sure, there's a lot of people that are Destiny broke, and then there's a lot of people that are Destiny rich. If you're playing the game and you're, you know, doing your bounties and stuff like that, here, let me, by the end of this, I'm going to help y'all. I'm going to give you some tidbits, and whoever watches it, you're a goat, and you get to find out all the little tips and tricks that I like to do to kind of help, you know, kind of counteract this issue. It's not really much of an issue, but apparently it is an issue for some people. But the whole bright dust thing, like in-game currency like that, it's nothing. Like, dude, you can grind for it and you get so much. Bungie gives so much more bright dust than they used to. That's the reason why before it was only 20 bright dust for a certain shader, but now they increase the amount that you could receive, and now it's 300. Well, of course, they got to separate you from your in-game currency somehow, or you're just going to be sitting on, oh, I got 100,000 bright dust and I don't use it for anything because I could buy everything within the store every week and I still receive so much. It's like, it's not even a thing, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people would prefer.
normally shaders would be frequently available for bright dust at the beginning of each season. Guys, it has been barely 3 weeks since the season of Deep launched at the time of this video, and no new shaders have been sold. Now, if you like ghost projections, don't take offense to what I'm about to say, but I'm of the opinion that these cosmetics solely exist to inflate the Bright Ingram loophole.
And no, okay, I'm gonna give him this. I'm sure that he's being extremely hyperbolic in a lot of this stuff, but ghost projections, I mean, I could care less about those things. Like, I just delete them or, you know, put them away in storage. I could care less about those things. I don't like them. Like, that's just me. You know, that's just my taste.
You could also make the argument that this is why Bungie makes so many cosmetics to begin with. Every new season, there are at least 9 new ships, sparrows, and ghosts. These are all sold in the Eververse store each season, but a majority of players will never see or want them. I wish I could tell you how many emotes and ghost projections exist in the game as of this moment, but Bungie does not put these items in player collections. Maybe someone with access to the API might know, but your average player has no clue. Inflating the Bright Ingram loophole means every time you level up enough to earn a Bright Ingram, you have to turn it in at the Eververse store, and you get nothing of value, further encouraging players to spend.
No, I mean, yeah, yes and no, I guess. it's more of, okay, you're, is that really an issue for people? Like, yeah, sure, you know, you get the bright engrams and you might get something cool. It's just RNG. I mean, is it really that big of an issue for people? I mean, seriously.
Spend to acquire coveted cosmetics. Now, if you're a new life player, when you visit Shahan to pick up your first quest and bounties, you are greeted with an exotic in his inventory. Except you can't collect this exotic. It's a short quest that you can only pick up after buying the most recent expansion. This year, it's Arbalest and requires you to buy Lightfall. Last year, it was Sweet Business and required you to buy the Witch Queen. No idea if Bungie removes these weapons from the loot pool for new lights or just pretends like they are part of the new expansion content, even though both of these weapons clearly belong in free to play given their age. Either way, shame on you, Bungie. Not only is this baiting players.
Yeah. I could see that. Definitely. That is kind of weird. To be honest, I never would have known that. To be fucking honest. But I mean, they're old weapons. There's other what I mean, does anybody really use Arbalest anymore? I mean, Arbalest hasn't been really meta for like a long fucking time. And I think that's another issue that I don't like is metas. And I understand, you know, there's going to be metas regardless, because if you try to move away from metas, there's always going to be like that one loadout everybody uses because it's the best thing to use, and it becomes a meta in of itself. So,
who haven't even played the game yet to spend money on an expansion, but you're doing it with content that has no business being tied to these new expansions. Destiny has now approached pay to win. Now, some of you may say that will never happen. Others of you may say it happened a long time ago. However, this season, definitively without a shadow of a doubt, has now pushed Destiny 2 into pay to win territory. Let me explain. In the past, we've brought up issues like character boosting. Essentially, you can pay $20 to skip the Destiny campaign and start unlocking your subclass and getting a head start on other content. I would make the argument that this is pay to win. In fact, we have made that argument in the past, and at the time, it was a pretty controversial subject. Another hot topic is expansion pre-order early exotic access. If you bought the Lightfall Deluxe Edition early, you unlocked Quicksilver Storm months before the Lightfall expansion was even released. People who bought the base version of Lightfall had to wait until Season of the Deep to use this exotic, which is literally over half a year total in waiting. Now, we thought that the weapon was pretty good in PvP. We called it pay to win. More people agreed, but yet again, controversial. The problem is,
no, like, okay, yeah, you got this cool weapon, but you didn't even get it at its full glory, because now it's a strand weapon, you know. No. I mean, and it wouldn't even like nobody used that damn weapon whenever you did pre-order for Lightfall. Like, hardly anybody fucking used it. Now it's a fucking monster. That thing is just disgusting with a good strand build. Oh, it is so good. Especially when you get Woven Mail going. Pick up Armalite, and then you got Woven Mail, and you just start rocking motherfuckers with that shit. Oh, it's so good. I love it. It's a great weapon. But really, like, no. It's like, it's not like like you pre-order it. Okay, it'll be pay to win if you pre-ordered the weapon and it was like meta, you know. It was extremely stupid in PvP, because that's where you typically see where pay to win is associated with, is when it comes to PvP activities. And trust me, like, that gun sucked when it first came out. It was like, that thing kind of sucked. Maybe someone else has like a better memory of it, but that's kind of how I see it.
Many people are reluctant to call Destiny a pay-to-win game. This hesitancy stems from one question: what is considered winning in Destiny? If you don't know what winning even means, then can you even win in Destiny? Let's try and break it down. What if we classify winning in Destiny as achieving certain in-game goals, going flawless, completing a dungeon, raid, or nightfall? All of these could be considered winning because they are difficult challenges, and they reward the players who complete them with great loot. Actually, I believe we just found our answer. Winning in Destiny 2 means getting great loot. Whether
is there really like a winning in Destiny though? Like, you're trying to figure out what exactly is winning in Destiny 2, and it's like, sure, there really is no winning. It's like a big circle, right? You're basically just on a track and you're going in circles the entire fucking time, and you're just going around and around and around and around doing the same fucking thing over and over and over and over and over again, right? So like you jump in, you find out what kind of cool weapons there are, you achieve to get those weapons, and then a lot of us will try to find builds to be able to use those weapons for, especially with, you know, now we have build loadouts and stuff like that, which is fucking amazing and I love it. But no, like you're kind of going in this big ass circle, and you just play the activities. You're playing through the story. When it comes to like the seasonal content, there's really no real end to this game, like at all. It's like when you really boil it down, there is no end to this.
Armor or weapons. Great loot is the reason why people play this game. Strip everything else away. At its core, people play Destiny so they can earn loot and use that loot to complete harder content, or enhance the content they already play, earning more great loot in the process. Owning better loot objectively gives you an advantage over other players in game. Need I mention the Immortal and Trials of Osiris or Gallahorn at multiple points in Destiny Sandbox? That's why it's called a looter shooter. Loot isn't everything Destiny has to offer, but it affects every aspect of the gameplay experience. With that in mind, we can now assign a definition of pay to win in Destiny 2. Destiny 2 is pay to win when an unfair advantage in obtaining great loot is only accessible to players who spend more money than what is essential to play Destiny 2. If you have a better definition, I would love to read your suggestions in the comments below. But as of this moment, I believe this statement encapsulates pay to win in the context.
Okay. Whoa. Well, slow down. Okay. So if you're able to spend more money to play or gain access to content, okay, so Destiny 2 is pay to win when an unfair advantage to obtain great loot is only accessible to players who spend more money. There is not a damn thing in this game. And we're going to get to it. Okay, we're going to get to it. I know you're probably screaming right now. But no, there's nothing in the game that would justify this at all. Not even the battle pass. And trust me, we'll get to it. I know you're itching. You're like, no, and you're in my comment section right now, flipping the fuck out. Trust me, we'll get there. Hang on. Just hold up.
Context of Destiny 2 or any looter shooter quite well. All right, Cross, we get it. What's your point? Over the years, Bungie has been inching closer and closer to this pay to win line. And as of season 21,
okay, let me give you what I see is pay to win. Okay. In a video game, when it comes to pay to win, is actually having the advantage over somebody that the only way to access certain things like powers or weapons, whatnot, anything that could give a player the upper advantage, by the only way would be is if they spend money. So basically that's what he's saying. I'm basically just regurgitated what he said, but there's a difference. There's a saying where it's either you get it now or you work your way up to it. You can either pay for it now to get it now, which, to be honest, I honestly think that the leveling system is actually more driven towards content creators and streamers. You can quote me and clip that shit, because I guarantee you that's what it is. It's that is more for them, and I think that's where there are people that are having a problem, because they feel like they're being taken advantage because they're covering their Bungie's game and on their own fruition, like they do it on their own, and they feel like Bungie is trying to suck more money out of them because they know that in order to be able to stay ahead of the game, you spend a little extra money, you can get all that extra cosmetic stuff there in the battle pass. So maybe that's where this is actually, when you take the rose color glasses off and you put the RGB streamer glasses on, things tend to make a little more sense.
They finally crossed it. Bungie opened the floodgates and are now allowing people to buy max rank for the entire season pass on day 1 of the new season. And you may be thinking, really, Cross, the season pass is not even pay to win. Is that right? Let's take a look, shall we? What does the Destiny season pass actually contain? Emotes, shaders, ornaments? What about XP bonuses?
Upgrade modules, exotic engrams, or legendary shards, 5 legendary shards, 3 upgrade modules. Like, what? I mean, okay, let's say you would have an argument if it said 100 legendary shards or 50 upgrade modules. You can't even hold 50, but let's say you get a whole stack, right? You get a whole stack of them bitches. 25, I think that's the number. You can hold 25 at a time, and you could do it per character, I believe. I'm not sure. I'm a single player. I wouldn't fucking know. But let's say Bungie puts 25, then you have an argument. But 3? But or is it the fact that it's there? Is that the issue? Like, is that really the issue? Is because it's there that it exists? Even if it said 1, people would still throw a fit.
In-game materials. More weapon drops? Yeah, you can get those. Progression boosts? See?
Weapon drops. Yeah. I mean, every once in a while. Oh, there's an extra loot drop. Cool. That's, I mean, who's actually, okay. Who purchased all these things and get, let's say, okay, to do the day 1 raid, right? It comes usually like that weekend right after. Yeah, I believe it's like the weekend right after the kind of redlining here. I do apologize. It kind of comes like the weekend after the start of a season, correct? So tell me, how many people have won World's First all based off of because they purchased all 100 levels of the season pass? I mean, I highly doubt that. I mean, the things that you receive out of there, like you get two upgrade modules, you get an exotic, which fucking exotics are just almost pointless at this point anymore. Exotic engram drops, unless if you're a new player or there are certain, like if I actually wanted to start a whole nother character, oh my god, this would be fucking perfect, right? It would be amazing. But like right now, exotics is hardly anything. Yeah, you get these certain boosts, right? Okay, hang on. I screwed up. Where was I? How far was I in? Okay. Okay, here we go.
Not even pay to win. Is that right? Let's take a look, shall we? What does the Destiny Season Pass actually contain? Emotes?
Okay, so you get emotes, which is nothing. You get legendary shards. You get some legendary shards here. You get some here. You get a stack here, which most people are probably, you know, with thousands of legendary shards. Okay, so, and you get these upgrades, right? You get these upgrades.
What about XP bonuses? In-game
XP bonuses, like that barely amount to anything. Like what, 3%, 2% increase? Like I said, I think a lot of this issue is because we're having an issue because it exists in the battle pass, but it's always been there ever since they started doing battle passes. I'm pretty confident in saying that. I could be 100% wrong. It's okay if I am wrong, but I'm pretty sure a lot of these things are in there. And you could get the exotics. Sure, you know, if you purchase the season, you get the season exotic right off the get-go. It's like #1 slot. But if you're free to play, you could still receive it. You just have to work up to it, right? I mean, does it mean that we have to have like just hand everything out? I mean, what's the point of having a battle pass? Sure, there's got to be some sort of incentive that Bungie wants to do to be able to get you to buy the battle pass. That's the whole idea, you know?
Game materials. More weapon drops? Yeah, you can get those. Progression.
Weapon drops. It's like, a bunch of just whatever's in the loot pool, and half the shit is just junk anyways. You delete more shit out of the battle pass than you actually use. I guarantee it.
Boost. Season passes, got him, fellas. Exotics, got
Is that even a god roll? I haven't even tried it. That's a sword. That might be. I don't know. And that shit, you can fucking craft that shit too. So, but no, like I don't think I've ever seen a weapon that was in the season pass that, one, you could not craft, and two, it was plaguing the fucking PvP. Not once have I seen that yet, except maybe the SMG. The SMG might actually be pretty good. It's the one from the season. It's not the immortal, but you could craft it, and it's actually, from what I hear, is actually pretty good.
roll legendary weapons. Every single one of those is available from the season pass, and every single one of these you can buy immediately for $100 at the beginning of a season. It didn't always used to be this way. Years ago, you couldn't even buy levels in the season pass, but then in Season 9 Dying, Bungie had a change of hearts. You can now buy them, but it has to be at the end of the season. Bungie called it a
Okay, yeah, I did notice that there was where you could purchase it like at the end of the season. It's more of a catch-up mechanic, but now it's like, I guess you could purchase it right at the very beginning of the season. But even then, I don't think it really matters that you purchase. Let's say you purchase all of it. What do you really gain? I mean, are you really gaining anything? I mean, for real, is it really gaining anything?
catch-up mechanic, so no one would miss out if life got in the way. And it was from that moment the downward spiral began. Soon it was available to be purchased halfway through the season, then 3 weeks into the season. Now years later, it's available day 1 of a new season. Quite the catch-up mechanic. You only have 3 months to complete the season pass. Better buy the ranks now before they're gone. Good news, the bundle Bungie sells for the first season pass plus first 10 ranks also went up in price. And even better news, they'll be evaluating new approaches to post-launch content in the year of Final Shape, which is corporate code for another price increase to $15 next year. It all makes sense now. Why do you think Bungie added that $100 silver purchase option in Steam while simultaneously offering a new fully ranked season pass for $100? Seems awfully convenient that both these new features shipped at the same time. You know what else is strangely convenient? Deep sight activation. For those of you who are unaware, deep sight is used to grant patterns for crafting weapons in Destiny. Once you've earned 5 deep sights for a specific weapon, you can craft the perfect roll of said weapon. It is literally the loot in game of Destiny 2. Perfect weapons with perfect rolls that takes lots of time to get. Deep sight
and you still have to upgrade them. And the only way you can actually use the deep sight, okay, these new focusing materials, you actually have to get that weapon to drop in order to be able to use it. So let's say, for instance, you got the round robin. That's the new strand hand cannon that came with Beyond Light, and you had 5 sitting in your vault because you can't seem to get a red border. Okay, so you could purchase these, and I think a lot of it's more towards like old weapons. Like for me, for example, I got to use it to be able to get the Ikelos SMG. I was like 1 away from actually be able to get the red border and get the pattern so that I could craft it, because it would be a great weapon for my Arc Hunter build. And right now it would be amazing, but right now I'm kind of using auto rifles because that's anti-barrier right now. So I'm kind of enjoying that. But at the same time, it was actually really, really nice that I was able to purchase, or I was able to not purchase, but I was able to get that. Now, I could see this being a bad idea if Bungie put those in like the Eververse, right? Let's say you get a pack of 10 for $20, right? Let's say Bungie does that. Then that would be a fucking problem. It's like, no. You shouldn't, no. Because yeah, sure, there could be a weapon that's really good. It takes a really, really long time, especially since they've actually increased the amount of patterns that you have to do from 5 to now, or it used to be 3, but then they upped it to 5. And I think Season of the Haunted, right? I believe that was the season. I think that's when people really felt the tiresome, like how strenuous it was to be able to purchase these things, or to be able to grind for these specific weapons. And I believe this is Bungie's solution to be able to kind of counteract that. But you can only really use one at a time, and one thing, they don't even fucking stack. You can't even stack them. You can only hold one at a time, and out of the entire battle pass you get 6. But there are really good weapons with like god rolls. Like Ostringer is a really good weapon, and that you can craft, but it still would take you time because you still have to level it up. Now if Bungie decided, well, we're going to give you weapon leveling and you had to purchase it from the Eververse, yeah, that would be a fucking problem. Yeah, I could see that being a really bad problem. But you only receive 6, and that's only enough for one weapon, and you have to have it drop 5 times before at least, so there's still some sense of a grind. It's not like you just get to buy it and then, oh, I get to go do this real quick and boom. Literally within the first 10 minutes and the first 3 minutes you actually spent purchasing all the fucking levels in the battle pass. I just, it's not really there. Now if it got to the point where it was being sold in the Eververse, yeah, that would definitely be an argument, and I would be totally against that. If like you could buy a pack of these, from there, not just, you purchase the battle pass, you get one every once in a while, and you can only hold one at a time, and you get 6 out if you purchase it. If you're free to play, you still at least get 3.
Activation is the ability to apply deep sight to a weapon that didn't drop with the weapon initially. This new quality of life feature was teased earlier this year and was beyond exciting, because this would have been a very useful avenue for newer returning players to earn old craftable weapons that no longer drop in the world loophole. Imagine our dismay when Bungie announced that the new deep sight harmonizer material that is used to apply deep sight is only available.
Okay, well, I could be completely wrong about this, but I wish I could find it. I may have to look it up, but I kind of wonder if Bungie, I could have swore I'd seen this in a TWAB, a past TWAB, that deep sight harmonizers would actually be a part of one of the activities that you can actually do, so it would be a grindable currency. Like you could actually grind it in the game, and if they do that, I think that would be freaking awesome, to be honest. If you had to do, let's say, Nightfalls or Grandmaster, shit, throw them in the Grandmaster maybe. In much harder content where you can actually grind them out, shit, put them in there. That would be fine, I would think. Shit.
On the season pass, 3 from the free track and 3 from the pay track, 6 total per season. If you want to know the math behind that, if you're new to the game, earning every weapon that no longer drops with deep sights would take you 24 seasons to get them all. We haven't.
Oh my god, yeah, like I feel like this is just being very extremely hyperbolic. If you want to be able to purchase all these weapons, it would take you 24 seasons. Now I'm assuming those are like all the previous seasons, but it would take you even longer because you have to get all those to drop. You have to at least get 5 a piece to be able to drop, and how often do they drop? And Bungie rotates the pool so often, you probably never get every single one if you're a new player. It's just one of those things, like if you weren't here, you kind of miss out on it. It's that FOMO. I mean, yeah, you can have too much FOMO, but at the same time, it is what it is.
It has 24 seasons in Destiny's lifespan. Now, there is no method to earn these materials in game. All you can do is wait for Bungie to drip feed you with XP. Unless you don't have to wait. So let's say you want that God roll targeted.
And like I said, I'm pretty confident. I believe I'm going to look it up, and then the next show that I have, I'm definitely going to come on here and be like, yes, Bungie did state it on this TWAB on this date that they were going to add these materials or these currencies in the regular playlist that you can grind for, which if they do, that would be excellent.
Redaction or that crafted Apex Predator right now. All you need to do is spin some silver, and just like that, you have enough deep sight to instantly craft any weapon you like. Sure, you have to get it to actually drop, but that's not a problem when you can focus all the seasonal weapons of the helm and farm last switch weapons for a few hours. Purchasing deep sight application allows you to complete.
That was just like one example though. Like, yeah, but Bungie ended up patching that. You can't even do that anymore. Be able to do that last wish grind.
bypass the craftable weapon loot grind for any crafted weapon you want. And you know what's crazy? Bungie pulled this exact same stunt with Armor Transmog. If you want to customize your armor, it was going to be limited and extremely complicated to earn. Oh, but also, you could just buy it from the Everest store. Of course, people were angry, but Bungie was still always safe because at the end of the day, it was only cosmetic. It can't be pay to win. Deep Side application is anything but cosmetic. This new feature is now being weaponized by Bungie to implement pay to win mechanics into the season pass. Some of you may be thinking I'm overreacting. Let's listen to that data video just one more time.
A lot of people now mention the slippery slope.
Okay, so let me help you out with the transmog thing, right? I'm gonna help you out real quick. So when it comes to transmog, and let's say you want to be able to get these materials that you can grind for, you could get the bounties to be able to earn these things, and you can, so that you can transfer them and make the armor ornaments. And for some reason you feel like you have to have all of them, and I think they have a cap on it, and I believe I'm at the cap because I didn't even realize I did, but I would have to check again. But here's how you do it. You go to 801, just pick up all those bounties of the various different things that you do when it comes to strikes, gambit, or crucible, and even the public event ones where random areas. Just grab them and fucking forget about them. Trust me. Just grab them up and forget about them. And trust me, you will complete them faster than you realize because you're not focused on doing it, right? You're basically just playing the game. Just pick them up as you go, especially go as each week. Okay, just pick them up. And then you could be able to, and as you build up, you'll have the max amount that you could purchase, and you can transmog whatever the fuck you want. Now, if you're trying to be like, I want to grind out to purchase every single one that I could, every piece of armor, sure, that you do you, boo boo, but if you get to a certain, maybe they can raise the cap if there is a cap, and that becomes a real issue, but I could care less. It's a non-issue for me. And trust me, I don't speak for everybody. This is kind of one of those things where certain people, they try to speak for everybody. And I don't think Cross is doing that. He's just kind of grieving out his own grievances as it's like, I'm trying to add to the conversation, right?
Argument. Yes, Dado. We start with shaders, emotes, but who's to say that they won't introduce materials, armor, or weapons in the future? If we see legendary guns for sale, if we see legendary marks for sale, I'm gonna be mad. If we see something like 100 modes of light for $5.
It's 5. 5 legendary shards. And you're not even purchasing them individually, like Dado was talking about. And
I don't want to see power sold. I don't want
upgrade module, you get 3. How far does that really get you? I mean,
power sold, nothing.
And ranks is let's see, big collector preview, it's a small XP boost, which is 2%, and that one could be probably for like the fire team one. If you're with your fire team, you get a 2% boost. Is it really that significant based on how big the numbers are?
And as long as Bungie does not cross the line of cosmetic items, I think we'll be fine.
Exotic engrams. Is that a really big issue right now, though? Because I feel like the exotic engrams have turned into the blues, to be honest. But that could also be because I have just about every exotic,
If Bungie does cross that line, you have my rage.
It doesn't matter if deep side harmonizers aren't directly purchasable from the Everest store. It doesn't matter if in-game materials, XP bonuses, exotic ciphers, or progress.
Yeah, all these items, sure, they're within the battle pass. You get one. How many of those I can't even think of the damn name, but legendary shards, 5 or 20, I think you get maybe of that. Enhancement cores, 5. Does it really get you anywhere? I mean, it really doesn't. Hell, you collect more by playing the game than if you just purchased all these things. It's not really going to give you much of a head. It really doesn't. It's just more of a flex. That's about it. It's like, oh, look, I already got all this stuff. It's like, oh my god, he got so many legendary engrams. I mean, sure, but he's got the entire 3 months to spend it. You know, I mean,
Progression boosts are contained within the vehicle we call the Season Pass. You can still purchase them. The line Bungie tries to tell us is that these rewards are available to everyone. Therefore, purchasing it early is of no consequence. All of the deep side harmonizers are beyond rank 50 in the Season Pass. 99.9% of the player base will not reach those ranks for weeks, if not months. But if you have money, you can just access more loots, more rewards, more craftable godle weapons for little to no work. What if the Immortal had been craftable this season? Everyone would have lost their minds. Just imagine if you could essentially buy a perfect...
yeah, but the only weapon that they preview is the Immortal, and that's if you go through trials. You have to play trials in order to be able to even get that weapon. It's not behind and the only paywall that it is that you have to have the most current DLC in order to be able to play trials. And that was Bungie's response in order to be able to cut down on all the cheaters, to try to do the best that they could to be able to cut down on cheaters. And the Immortal was actually through trials. It's not through the battle pass. It doesn't drop from legendary engrams that are from the battle pass, or you purchase it through the battle pass. The Immortal is probably the worst weapon right now for people to be, you know, because that's what everybody was complaining about. It's almost like the Lunas Howl, Recluse, you know, people who were using Recluse in PvP. It's the same old song and dance that we go through every season.
PvP weapon and terrorize the Crucible with it for weeks or months with little to no competition. All hell would have broken loose. This doomsday scenario is not only possible, but now it is incredibly likely. If this isn't pay to win, fellas, I don't know what is.
It's not pay to win. I mean, I don't know if he's actually being real serious about this, but nah, like, yeah, sure, you could probably get that one weapon but you still have to put the effort in to be able, you still have to get it to drop that many times. That's a grind of its own. That just basically, like, you just up your RNG for that one specific weapon, but depending on who you are, you're going to be looking at all kinds of weapons. Well, now you're going to have to actually work for the rest of them. And especially the way that Bungie always nerfs shit, they're always nerfing or buffing certain shit throughout the season. So let's say there's a hand cannon that you can craft and it's dominating PvP, and someone could get it day one because they purchase all 100 deals. Okay, so what? They get it and they start terrorizing everybody in PvP. But eventually you could get it too. It's when that access is only opened to those who spend the money is when it's pay to win. Let's say the only way that you have access, well, I guess you could say the Immortal could, you know, with the trials being put behind a paywall, you could probably make an argument that that's actually pay to win. Just saying. I mean, you could make that argument because Bungie put trials behind a paywall to be able to purchase most recent DLC. And yeah, that's more of an argument there, because the Immortal was definitely terrorizing people, but you still have to play the game and hope that you get a god roll. And how easy is that? And trials is a fucking nightmare anyways, so how many people are really going to go in and actually do it?
An argument I want to kill an egg before it gains any traction is that Bungie is charging more money because they are making better content / another game. Don't kid yourself, guys. We know that Bungie's team for Destiny has not dramatically increased in size since the Taken King. We also know that Bungie is making a boatload of more money than they did back in Destiny 1 because more players and microtransactions exist. Yes, I think the seasonal model is better for Destiny as a live service game. Yes, I believe that microtransactions have their place in Destiny. I'm not even paying extra for seasons. I buy the deluxe edition of the game every year that has zero effect on me, but I'm sick and tired of the player base getting nickel and dimed at every turn. The constant double dipping, the never-ending increases in prices, and confusion for new players. I don't even know why we're surprised. Bungie in their GDC 2022 panel celebrated their 3-step plan for Destiny. After winning back player trust and keeping player retention high, their main focus was once again revenue. We took Bungie's side then when this controversy was blowing up, because believe it or or not, we like it when Bungie's profitable. That's not a bad thing. But the pursuit of more profits came with the promise that it would be built off that foundation of player trust. Newsflash, adding pay-to-win mechanics and lying to the community destroys player trust. I'm not going to support a business model that employs these types of marketing strategies. I'm not going to pretend like this is some turning point for Destiny, a point of no return. This is not a crossroad. This is another step along a very long road that's marching us closer and closer to microtransaction hell. As for Bungie's new game Marathon, why should I give a damn about Marathon? I'm not paying to play Marathon. I'm paying to play Destiny 2. And as a diverse player who plays PvP and PvE, I thought overall things were decent. And then I listened to a clip from Grenadier Jake, who lives and breathes PvP, especially Trouse.
I think what Bungie touches usually turns to gold. Halo, Destiny, I bet you Marathon's gonna kill it. But do you want some real honest feedback from me too? I think it's absolutely that Bungie would abandon this game's PvP essentially, which is what they've done. They've made us basically no new maps in like 4 years, yet continue to make us pay hundreds of dollars a year so they can go work on their next baby. It feels like complete bullshit, dude. I feel like Destiny players have the right, especially Destiny PvP players.
Yeah, but we don't actually know that. I mean, it's really just speculation. Sure. If people are, if they're actually just everything that they've received or whatever the case may be, you know, they're funneling all over to Marathon, which it isn't even going to be coming out till what, next year or the year after, 2025. And then there's like another game that we're speculating that's codename Matter, and people were speculating that Matter was actually Marathon, but apparently not. Those are actually two separate video games that Bungie has been working on, but they have been increasing in size since the Taken King. They've been hiring like fucking crazy. They've been, I mean, it's almost like, especially on Twitter, if you ever go on Twitter, you'll see that they're like putting out job postings like almost every week, like that they're trying to increase their staff.
Players to be pissed. We're still spending over.
Now, when it comes to the PvP, yeah, sure. Like, I can sense, I can sympathize with the PvP mains that play Destiny 2 PvP like it's Call of Duty. Yeah, I just kind of see the struggle. Like they feel like they're left behind because they never get any like new content. You know, they get I'm not sure if there's really any new armor pieces that you could receive like playing in trials, but it's kind of mediocre, you know. But do people really play PvP in order to actually get material, like to be able to get anything out of it besides to, you know, show off their skills? Because a lot of people want to try to turn Destiny PvP into like some into some kind of esports game, you know, where it's high competitive, basically like Call of Duty or CSGO or whatever.
$100 every year to play this game. They literally abandoned us. I feel like that's really frustrating.
And it's really put things in.
I mean, if you're paying $100 a year to play PvP, I'm sorry, bro. Like, you might want to figure out your priorities just a little bit, you know. Just, if you've been doing that this whole time.
Into perspective, Bungie abandoned Destiny 2 PvP for their new PvP game. Not only that, but Marathon is also getting all the bells and whistles Destiny players have been asking for a very long time. Dedicated servers, leaderboards, new maps, only after complaining year after year, buying new expansions and seasons.
Yeah, they have, but also Bungie has been working on trying to work up, you know, or develop a decent enough ranking system in Destiny, which, to be honest, I am shocked that they decided to do that. For a game that's got abilities and supers and just crazy fucking weapons that you could play with. Holy I'm just shocked that they put some sort of rank. But yeah, like and to be honest, I'm not educated on the whole dedicated servers. If that would really make much of a big deal. Another thing is people always bring up is new maps. You know, definitely need some new maps in Destiny. Yeah, sure. Like, you know, they put, let's say Bungie puts out 2 new maps tomorrow. By the end of the season, you'll be bored of them. I mean, sure. I think what Bungie needs to do, to be honest, in my opinion, I did point out, I even made a TikTok about it, which you should go check that out. I think I got the link in the description for it. But I did point out that maybe Bungie could basically give us the ability to create our own matches, like kind of like how you can here, but to really fine tune it the way that we want, right? So say you can go in and you could literally set up the rules that you can't use these specific weapons. No heavy is allowed. I know there's a lot of people, or there are certain groups that are basically doing that. Just kind of putting up a leaderboard, be like, hey, if you're going to participate in this sort of tournaments or whatever, here are the rules, or these are weapons that are banned in this activity. Which is awesome. But I think what they could do is allow players to basically do Bungie's job for them, basically. To be able to try out new game modes. Like you could set your own rules and different effects, kind of like let's say you put Rift meets Supremacy and give it a funny ass name, and you get credited by being the author of the game mode, and then it gets put up on a leaderboard and people can see it and play it, and the most popular one gets put up at the top. But this is a whole separate thing. You don't get to earn any loot, but the most popular one that people tend to enjoy, and Bungie can see the numbers that it actually does really well, and you're not seeing like this overly done or overly amount of people just being steamrolled all the fucking time, and it's very well balanced. They can actually put that into the game. Now I get it, that's probably a lot easier said than done, so I'm not going to try to sit here and be like, Bungie, do it. I know you could do it.
Year after year, are PvP players finally getting some attention? More than anything else, it's just sad that this much money has been spent by this many people, and what content do they have to show for it? Almost nothing. Bungie made a promise to make the game better for all players, not just PvP players, all players. Sadly, this isn't the first time Destiny players have been abandoned before. I know a lot of you have never played or don't care about Destiny 1 these days, but 7 years ago, before Silver even existed, the Taken King Collector's Edition was sold, and it included some custom emotes and class items. Back then, these were some of the best looking armor pieces and emotes in the game. Several of our editors were young teens at the time, and being Destiny fans, they bought the Collector's Edition. Revisiting those accounts years later, practicing for the Destiny 2 King's Fall raid race, gathering footage for videos and so on, they noticed they can't equip their custom Taken King items anymore. Items that they own, items that they paid for, items that Bungie would happily charge them $20 to repurchase years later are sitting in their inventory, and they can't use them. They aren't the only ones either. Forum post dating several years back also complained about this exact issue. Bungie hasn't fixed it. Why would they? Repurchasing old content isn't new grounds for Bungie, and paying for content.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that sucks, but I mean, it's Destiny, this first one. To be honest, I'm actually shocked that it's still up and running. To be honest, like, ooh, I mean, eventually that game is going to crash and burn, and they're going to shut down the servers one day eventually, which would be a sad ass day. I'm definitely want to try to go through and actually play it, try to do some of the raids and shit before that happens for sure, and maybe bring some friends along, and kind of, because after playing Destiny 2, I had a better perspective from Destiny, from the first one, because I loved that game. That game was a lot of fun, but I soloed the entire thing, never got to do the raids or any of that. I might have checked out PvP here and there, but I didn't really get too much into it because I was still in my Call of Duty days and Minecraft days at that time. But yeah, I'm still shocked that Destiny is still up and their servers are still going.
Just for it to be unplayable years later isn't a novel concept for Bungie. Doesn't care about their old game. Bungie only cares about their new game, the one that will make them more money, the one that gets the $3.6 billion deals, the one they can use as a vehicle to be as profitable as possible, pay to win or otherwise. That's everything. That's all I got, guys. This isn't a Bungie strike. This isn't me disowning Destiny for the rest of my life. Frankly, that will accomplish nothing. As a wise man once said, every gaming boycott is one 3-minute cinematic from being over. The final shape, Destiny's climax, is on the horizon. Microtransactions will not kill Destiny. Destiny is not on the verge of collapse. It's in fact the opposite. Destiny is making more money than ever before. It has more players than ever before, and I love that. But the terrible truth is, this success gives even more credence to these business practices. It affirms greedy behavior, and it gives Bungie a giant green light to invent new ways to take our money and devalue the player. I remember the days when you walked into a store and bought a game, and now more than ever, I find myself diving into a game and finding a store. A long time ago, when Bungie was beneath the corporate umbrella of Activision, we saw this senseless greed, the half-baked products, and we rejoiced when Bungie went solo. Little did we know, we were going out of the frying pan and into the fire. Bungie in some ways is worse than Activision ever was. If you're taking anything from this video, I want you to think about everything we discussed, all the actions Bungie has taken objectively, and decide for yourself, where do I draw the line? How far is too far? And remember that, because looking back, we're already well and beyond what we would have tolerated 7 years ago. I imagine 7 years from now into the future, when we have Marathon, a mobile game, and who knows, maybe even Destiny 3, I'll ask you again, where did you draw the line? And I'm almost certain Bungie will have stepped over it.
And trust me, he's not Cross is not the only person that has made videos like this. Okay, so like I said, this is mainly here, let me turn the music back on here. Okay, so the idea behind all this was mainly just so I can add to the conversation, not to inflame any open or throw any salt into open wounds. That's not my intentions. My intentions are to add to the conversation, look at it at a different point, because let's face it, I'm coming at this as a player, not a streamer or the typical content creator. I mean, hell, right now you're kind of seeing this whole exodus of players that are leaving, or it's mainly, I guess you would say, the content creators are starting to move on. And I would have to ask one simple question, and which I think I'm going to make a TikTok out of this as well, or at least I'm going to ask the same question for TikTok to get people's thoughts and ideas on how they feel about it. But whenever you hear a lot of these complaints, and especially if you're saying it on Twitter, there's always going to be some sort of bias, obviously, because we're all biased. Anybody who tries to say, oh, I'm not biased, you're biased. You got your biases. You just don't want to admit those biases. And like I'm biased in some sort of way, especially when it comes to, for a good example, I only have one character, so a lot of these things don't bother me because it's like, I don't care, because I only play one character. I don't feel the need that I have to go and have every single piece of armor. That might be someone else's joy. Like that's their end game, is to have every weapon and every armor piece. But I still don't think a lot of these issues are going to be that bad for them, because like, seriously, are they really, if they're putting that much fucking time into the game? I mean, I'm sorry, I don't see it. But ask this one question before I go on a side tangent again. Is Destiny 2 streamer friendly? I ask you that question, and just think about that. Is Destiny 2 actually streamer friendly or content creator friendly? Because I'm seeing a lot of these guys, like right now, that are talking about they're moving on. They're going to go play other games. They're going to cover other games. They're going to take a hiatus and just kind of do something else, because we basically got the ending of the season when it comes to story. They'll come back, when it comes to, what's the next event? Summer Solstice, I believe. That'll be the next event in Destiny. They'll come back for that, obviously. But they're going to take a break. And maybe if I, kind of stick to this whole thing, because they're running out of stuff to talk about, I feel like there's quite a bit of stuff that we can actually talk about. But we can actually look at this and be like, hey, or if they decide that they're going to leave, I could be like, hey, I'm here. Man, that was a hell of a tangent. I'm sitting and I'm seeing now I'm buffering over here on this screen. It looks okay. Maybe it's just my web browser. Dude, what the hell? Okay. Still showing that I'm live. What the hell is going on here? It could just be my web browser, because it looks like the stream is still going good. Huh? Oh. No. Yeah. How did that happen? Okay. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, that freaked me the fuck out. Holy shit. Okay. Ooh, oh, I don't know how that happened. Okay. That's really, really weird. Oh man, I'm glad it happened now. Okay. And not like earlier. Okay. There we go. Ooh, somehow it changed over to my other account. So it's like, wait, where's all my shit? But I didn't realize I was on my other account, that my normal account. Oh, man, that gave me a scare. Holy shit. Okay, so anyways, that's fine. Like I said, ask yourself if you believe that Destiny is streamer friendly or if it's even content creator friendly. I would say yes to a certain point. Like there's going to be, you're going to run out of shit. And for me, that's kind of the reason why I went this route. Like to be more, not so much just to stream a video game. Cause yeah, you're going to get burnt out. It doesn't matter what you do. I mean, this is going to burn me out one day, I'm sure. Hopefully, you know, it starts building up. Which, you know, hint, hint, wink, wink, you know, hit that sub button for me. I like to try to get us up in subs, and I understand it helps if I'm more consistent and I'm not streaming on a random Thursday. Actually getting a schedule put together. I've been kind of back and forth on how I want to go about this. If I just want to do it like once a week, or you know, maybe do it every Wednesday or every Friday. But I want to get consistent, and I do want this to be a nightly thing. Like this Monday through Friday, I would hope that this is what you're looking forward to. You come and I can have guests on, and it's not just me ranting and rambling and not knowing how to fucking talk. You can actually, you know, get some sort of entertainment out of it each night. Or if you're working that graveyard shift, you know, you're working that graveyard and you just need some background noise. I got you, man. I lived that shit. That shit fucking sucks. So, okay. But anyways, I don't know. That was like almost 2 hours. That's a long ass stream compared to my other streams. Holy shit. I loved it too. And that was just one video. I've been and there were many other things that we could talk about, but might save those for tomorrow. Now tomorrow night I'm thinking about doing a fishing trip where I would actually stream the game, but we're just fishing and chilling and chatting, and we'll talk about certain things, and maybe I'll get some people to join me. You know, just kind of bullshit, you know, get some of the homies together and just see how that goes, right? So well, anyways, we're almost heading we're getting pretty fucking, like in another 15 minutes or so. Well, on the stream on there it's an hour 42, but on here it shows like a minute of 2 hours. Holy shit. But anyways, I think I'm going to be cutting it for tonight. I don't know how I'm going to do tomorrow, depending on if I come up with a topic. But I am looking for people to be guests on my show, and I'm going to be really hitting it hard to expand and try to get more people onto the show and actually have these discussions. And yeah, and if you're here, this is your first time here, I hope you stick around, you know, hit the like button, hit that sub button, you know, only hit the bell notification if you're weird like that. But other than that, I think I'm gonna get the hell out of here. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening, and until we meet again, Guardians, y'all keep it classy.